Sam Webb here on a special edition of the Michigan Insider live from the final spring practice before the spring game on Saturday. Sitting here with Michigan receivers coach Jeff Hecklinski. Heck, how you doing this afternoon, man?
I'm doing good, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, you are one of the guys on this team that when you look at what you return, wow, terrific talent, and you're adding terrific talent at the same time. Difference is with the guys that you're adding, you're getting those guys mid-year. So you have a number of guys that you're able to throw in there that you're going to have at your disposal depth-wise. Let's start with the top of the heap, Devon Funchess. What has he been like this spring?
I think we've been very happy with what he's done. I think he's been very productive. Played tough. He's played like a top wide receiver should play. I mean, when you got a returner coming back that's made the type of plays that he's made with the game experience, I think he's made strides to improve his game, playing more physical both in the pass game and the run game, and then obviously picking up the system. And I think that's been a big push for everybody at every position, is learning what Doug wants, how he wants it, and making sure from our perspective in the pass game we're where we need to be when the quarterback delivers the ball so he can get it out of his hands and get it to us.
I do want to talk about your position group more broadly and how things change for you guys as a result of the change in system. But getting back to Devon specifically, what improvements was he kind of charged with making as you headed into the spring? What did you say, Devon, you know what, this is what I want to see from you?
Consistency. And I think consistency and performance every play, and being that guy that can be out there for 60, 70 plays, and you're getting the same on play 60 that you are on play 1. And I think that's one of the things that he's made great strides in throughout the spring, from winter conditioning till this point right now, is reducing his drops, reducing his mental errors, and being a guy that's in the position at the right time to make the play that we need to win the game. Because obviously he's going to be one of the guys that's highly counted on in order to help win us football games. All
right, so let's get back to that broad question that I kind of previewed. So Doug comes in, changes you guys, it's obviously new system. How does that change things for you guys at receiver? Are you doing many different things? Is it mostly the same things that you're doing? How at all, if at all, are things different for you?
Do you want the truth?
Yeah,
or do you want me to give you the stock answer so nobody knows what's going on? No, it's completely different. Completely different. His ability to move people around, our responsibilities in the run game, our responsibilities in the pass game with formations and everything that we're doing. I can't think of one thing that's even a carryover as we started to get into and learn the nuances of what Doug wants. Mm-hmm. And so from that standpoint, I tell you what, it's been, even for myself, I've been learning along with the players. I probably annoy the heck out of Doug every day because I'm always trying to get with him on, hey, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this, because I want to make sure that when we hit the practice field, our guys are in positions to do what they're supposed to do and do it the way he wants it done. And so from that standpoint, I think it's been a learning process for us all. I think Doug's energy out on the field is something that, really has created a very intense practice atmosphere, and, one that I think we'll benefit from as we go through the course of the summer and through the course of fall camp as we get prepared for our first game.
All right, so now talk about some of the other guys at your position. Then we're with Michigan receivers coach Jeff Hecklinski here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA live from spring practice. J.U. Chesson, he made more plays as the season went on, kind of pressed into greater duty than maybe he was anticipating at the start when Amara was going to be in there. What about the strides that J.U. has made?
I think J.U. from a consistency standpoint is someone that, as the spring has gone on, as he started to pick up the offense, has become more consistent, and I think more of a being in a position to be able to make more consistent plays, and be a guy that throughout the course of the game can have 4, 5, 6 touches throughout the course of a game. I don't think from a standpoint of anybody in our room that we're ready to go out and play a game today. But I think if we did, you would see J.U. on the field in a lot of different roles and in a position to get the ball. he's still got a lot of learning to do, but the one thing he brings is strength and speed. And the deep game with JU is something that at times has been impressive throughout the spring, and that's something we got to continue to develop with him, as along with the role of all the underneath routes. And probably the biggest difference with Doug is the amount of underneath routes we have, the amount of built-in underneath the intermediate, the deep routes that we have, where everybody is in a different position throughout different plays. And JU's one of those guys that, I think has had a very positive spring. I think, from the standpoint of he's put himself in a position to be a contributor and a key contributor.
All right, so Amara, where is Amara in his recovery process?
As far as I know, he's out there running around. We have not put him in any situations in terms of contact or anything like that, but in terms of routes on air, anything he does throughout individual and anything he does in a controlled setting, he looks back to normal.
Gotcha.
And so, I think that's exciting, and I think Amara's going to end up being a very key to, our group, just because of the consistency that he has, the toughness that he has, and where he was going. And to be honest with you, throughout the course of the spring, I haven't seen a drop-off, and I haven't seen any remnants of anything hindering his performance in terms of his speed and the things that he was doing beforehand to what he's doing right now. So, we're excited to get him back. Obviously, I think the room's excited to get him back and excited to get him going in the flow of the offense.
All right, so speaking of excitement, and I know you aren't one to hype young guys at all, not saying that you're saying this guy's going to be the next so-and-so, but talking to your players, both guys at your position group and guys on the defensive side, they seem to be excited about a youngster named Freddie Canteen and what he's done this spring. What about you as his coach? What have you seen, and has it excited you?
Well, nothing excites me except for Saturday and how we perform on Saturday, and not next Saturday. But I'm talking about the Saturday all the way.
Yeah, you're missing your calling as a politician
in August. I defer to our statement, and young kids are young kids, and has Freddie had a good spring? Yes. Is there a lot to learn? Of course. Is there skill there? Yes, but he's young, and we got to remember that there's going to be growing pains as we go through this. And like I always say, it's best to let those kids go through those growing pains behind closed doors, and allow them to make their mistakes and allow them to play the game. So when they get out there in front of 115,000, they're ready to perform at a high level.
I gotcha. Okay, I get where you're going, and fans will get a chance to see for themselves on Saturday a little of what he has in his game. But what have you seen? How about this as a better question? What have you seen as his coach that he does well? How about that?
He's very explosive, and he brings a change of speed to the game that in my 3 years here, from when I first got here to right now, we haven't had. Mm-hmm. And so from that standpoint, I think by the time we get to the first game, Freddie's going to be somebody that's people are going to be very excited to see for themselves. Our job as coaches now is to get him to that point, so then when he gets into game time, it's natural. Because if Freddie's natural, he's definitely going to add to the mix and be a guy that can be dependent upon in the course of the game.
All right, so what about Drake? Drake is a kid who physically is coming back from an injury, missed his senior campaign. How about his recovery? I know you said when we talked to you a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago that he had already picked up 10 pounds on his frame. How is he coming along?
Same thing, and I think we made it through about 2 weeks, and then we had another pull of the hamstring, and so we're working back through it. From what we understand from the doctors and the trainers and Coach Wellman and the strength staff, this is common, especially when you have a severe pull as he had. But we got through 2 weeks. We got a chance to see a lot of Drake, which was good because, obviously his skill set is exactly what we hoped it would be. And, he's somebody that as we get him healthy, as we continue to build strength, and as we continue to get beyond this, there's a lot of skill in there too. Just like Freddie, both Freddie and Drake are two individuals that were very impressive. as we've come through the spring, especially kids who should still be in high school and have been here for, a little bit over 2 months. So, I think with Drake, we just got to continue to build him and build him and build him. And I think with both Freddie and Drake, neither one are finished products. And, I think we got to remember that this is going to be a building process for both kids.
One more guy before we ask you about the academy, because we could talk about all your guys at length, but Demario Jones, a kid who you said last year, as we were heading into the season, you saw some promise, but a lot of work. He's a guy in progress. What kind of progress has Demario made?
In terms of learning how to be a receiver, I would say Demario's come a long, long way. And, it's going to be a continued learning process for him, but one that I think as we've gone through the spring, when you see him put it together, there's a lot that you say, wow, that's positive. You can see it where you can put him in a game and you can say, okay, we can get him into these situations and he can really affect the game. And so, I think he's had a productive spring. I think he's had a spring that he can carry into the summer and carry into fall camp and say, you know what, I'm in a position to compete, to get the ball in my hands and affect the game. And I think coming out of spring for someone like him, that's what you're hoping for.
All right, so Coach, the men's experience, the women's academy, those are coming up the first weekend in June. Obviously, it's been a lot of fun. Your wife has participated in the women's academy before. I know Tiffany has been one of the stars of the academy in the past. What can fans, be they men or women, expect when they come by Jeff Hecklinski's station there at the clinic in the academy?
A lot of energy. A lot of yelling, a lot of screaming, all in a positive way, though. And, a bunch of good-looking, tough, hard-nosed wide receivers helping them learn the position of how to play wide receiver. Because, the great thing about this is, number one, it's for two great causes. And obviously one that, in terms of our life personally, we've been affected by. And so that's something that's very close to us. But on the other end of it, something that's interactive with our players, not just us as coaches. I mean, just like our players, we get tired of hearing ourselves talk too. And so, I think the interaction between the players, and that's really what this is about, is getting everybody involved for a great cause and getting them involved with Michigan football, not just from a coaching standpoint, but with the players too.